Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, the domestic goddess in the paddy wagon, who tonight is enjoying a lovely cup of pistachio nut coffee. Not that they have sponsored us, because they haven't, but I got this amazing coffee from Cynthia Jackson's, which is up in New Hampshire. And she has a whole coffee line called This Guy's Nuts.
Yeah.
If you have not seen my Facebook live video about This Guy's Nuts coffee, you need to go to my Facebook page, scroll down a few days, and watch my live. I think it was from Mother's Day. So scroll all the way back to last Sunday and you will have the laugh of your life. But in the meantime, play our intro.
Here we go. All right, tonight we finally have got, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
Mickey Mouse.
we present the
She
Squatchers. Yay, there's Jen.
We have Jana Grover from the She Squatchers. Jen Cruz will be popping in and out based on her hotel Wi-Fi situation. And
yes.
Their comrade is busy kickboxing with her daughter tonight.
Yes, her daughter's only in town for a little bit, so please forgive her. She'd love to be here otherwise. So
yes. Well, we've got my two sexy gal pals here, so I'm good.
Perfect.
All right, take it away, Sam. Stan. I don't know. What's the line? Take it away.
Take it away. Oh, what is that? Take it away.
I don't know. It's anyway. Wow. We want to say hi. Dale is on, and Craig is on, and Patty. Hi, Patty. And we'll have people trickling in as the evening wears away.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't had guests on since we've been using this thing. So, can you guys see the chat by the chance?
No, I don't think we're able to see the chat because we are not. Oh, wait a minute. We can see the chat. I don't think we can chat back. That's what it is. We can see the chat. We can't chat back.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So they're saying hi. Paula and Renee are on.
Yeah. So people are jumping in. We're kind of vamping right now while people jump in on our live stream usually. So, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, she's walking down the hall trying to find the signal.
No, remember those old Verizon commercials? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I was just trying to find more light. So
there you go.
I'm trying it on my phone instead of my laptop. So
there you go.
Working better.
It seems to be working.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better. All right. So Jen, tell us who the She Squatchers are and how you came about.
All right. Well, we're the first all-female Bigfoot research team from the Midwest. And we started out in 2015 after a very interesting interview that I did with Lauren Coleman on my radio show. See if I can get my phone set up here in a spot that it's going to sit nice. How's that? Is that good? Hey. Okay.
Gorgeous, as always.
And then my arm won't go sore, right?
Jen, you're not centered. I know how seriously centered you want to be, so just take a move to the right. So now you're centered.
There you go.
Just don't move.
If I scoot over here, it's gonna bug Jenna.
It will. Because she's always like, Jenna, center, and I'm always trying to center for her. So
all right. So I was interviewing Lauren Coleman on my radio show. At that time, I had a paranormal radio show, and I ended up at an event with him. And we did a sit-down in-person interview for like an hour, and he educated me about Bigfoot, which I didn't know much about at all at that time. Nor did I really believe that Bigfoot was real. So he had an interesting idea. He thought that sending women into the woods without men, dogs, or guns would be the recipe for success in finding and interacting with Bigfoot. And so I jokingly said, oh, pick me, you know. But I was just joking. But by the end of the show, he had me interested enough to say, okay, seriously, I'm going to try this. So I asked some ladies to go with me, a group of paranormal investigators that I figured had the equipment we might need already.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided that we were going to go out and try it. I didn't tell my closest friends. And the reason I didn't is because I was embarrassed. I was looking for Bigfoot.
She's serious. She did not tell me.
Yeah,
I would have totally been there for you, girl. Oh,
I know she would have wanted to be there, but I was just like, oh, this is so dumb. What am I doing? You know? But in addition to Lauren's idea about sending women into the woods, I'm also a psychic medium. So I thought, I wonder if we could use our extra senses to get us closer to the location where they actually are without having to stumble around just looking randomly. So I decided we'd try that too. So when I went out, I was opening my awareness, looking to sense energy that was different than energy that I'd felt before. And I did. I felt this different energy at this location. And although we didn't see anything there that would make us think that Bigfoot was there, I still was feeling that energy. So I took the GPS coordinates down and said, we're going to come back here tonight when it gets dark and see if anything happens. And we continued looking around this lake. There had been a sighting or an encounter a few weeks prior to that there by a young native guy in his canoe. It was on 6 Mile Lake in Minnesota. And he had been fishing in his canoe towards dark. And when he was coming into the boat landing, there was a Sasquatch in the shore, like up to his knees in the water. And he was moving aggressively towards the canoe. So he just stayed out deeper. And, he tried to move down the shore and it was like following him. So he ended up being followed along the shore by this Bigfoot back and forth for a couple hours. And it's dark now and his cell phone's dead. And his family was like, he should have been back a long time ago. So finally somebody drove out there to see if he was okay. And they went out there and they're beeping their horn and they are, flashing the lights. And that scared the Bigfoot into the trees. And he paid attention to where it ran back in at. And so he came in and they drove away. And the next day they came back and to look to see if there was any footprints there. And there were. They found quite a few and they casted some. And that made the news. We didn't know exactly where that happened on that lake. We were told it was by a public boat launch. But the only public boat launch that's there is on the other side of the lake from where all the dense trees and natural wilderness is at. It's a very long, skinny lake. One side is filled with cabins and homes and people, and the other side is empty, dense forest. And this little road that they call Reservation Highway 20, which is a gravel road with the trees right up on it with one car passage. If you meet somebody on there, somebody has to back up. So I really felt that if there were Bigfoot there, they would be on the side of the lake where there were no cabins. And so we were looking there during the daytime, and that's where that one spot was that I thought felt interesting. So the other place that we found interesting that was at the very top of the lake, and that had a little bridge that went over this little inlet of water that flowed into the top of the lake from a wetland. And there was a light gravel top on this little bridge. And as we're walking across it, I just felt like, look back. And so I looked back and I see these footprints, this trackway of footprints going across the bridge and even further down the road that I didn't notice when we were walking in. And they weren't our footprints. These were bare footprints, like bare feet. And they were hardened into the gravel. And they were, very shallow. It's nothing castable or anything like that, but they were, something must have walked there when it was wet and then it dried. And so, we took lots of pictures with dollar bills next to the footprints. And, me being the tallest one, I was running next to them and leaping, trying to trying to get to see if I could match the stride of these footprints or not. Jenna, please don't message me. So I don't know if that made a sound that you guys could hear or not.
No,
no, it didn't. Okay. So, you know, that was very interesting that we found those footprints, and that really got me excited. So later that night, we went back when it was dark, and we went to that spot that I felt that interesting energy at. And we stopped the car, middle of the road, because there's nowhere else to put it. And it's so dark that we can't see anything, nothing. And one of the girls had borrowed a FLIR thermal camera from somebody. It was just one of those cheap ones that you pull the trigger and it takes a picture. And so she handed it to me while she went to the back to get the stuff out of the back hatch. All the other girls had the stuff in the back hatch, and I had mine on me. So I was really excited to play with this thermal camera. So I'm scanning it, you know, scanning the woods and looking to see if there's anything out there with a temperature. I would have been happy to see a bunny or a deer, you know, anything. Mm-hmm. And you know, I didn't see it as I'm scanning the woods. Now I'm scanning in front of the car, and there's all of a sudden I see someone standing there, and I thought it was one of the girls that had walked out in front of the car or something. So I said, "Who's in front of the car?" And nobody answered me. And I said, "Hey, who's in front of the car?" And nobody answered me. I just kept asking that with more anxiety in my voice each time. And Marlo heard me, and she comes running up to the front to see what's going on. And she looks at the screen on this little camera, and she sees the thermal of that person standing there towards the left side of the road and right at the tree line. And she looks up and she gasps, and she's like, "Oh, I just saw eyes." And I'm like, "You did?" So I look up from the camera screen to see if I can see eyes, and I didn't. But then I couldn't find it again on the thermal, so it must have stepped back into the woods. So we decided we were going to walk that way into the woods. So 3 of us decided we were going to walk that way, and we started walking into the woods there. And we didn't get very far before we started hearing some commotion coming through the branches of the trees. And there's a rock that lands in front of us, about 3 feet in front of us, and bounces. And I was like, "Is that a rock?" And Marlo's like, "Yeah, I think that's a rock." And here comes another one. We can hear it coming through the branches of the trees, and it lands right next to the other one. And then another one comes down. And I didn't know at that time that Bigfoot were known for throwing rocks at people. I didn't know that. I had never heard that before. So I was just like, what the heck is going on here? I've been in the woods in Minnesota my whole life. Nothing has ever thrown rocks at me before. I don't understand this. So I just kind of felt like, okay, well, what does it mean? And I felt like it doesn't mean it means it doesn't want us to walk this way. So we backed up back to the road. And so then one of the girls said, "Hey, Jen, why don't we do one of those Bigfoot calls that they do on TV?" And I said, "Sure, go ahead." And so she let out a whoop, and we were all very quiet and listening, and had our, you know, recorders going. And instead of getting a vocal response, all of a sudden we start hearing something moving towards us, not from the left side of the road where the thermal was, where the rocks were, but now it's coming from the right side. And we all point our cameras into the dark. You know, they have those night vision cameras, and we're all pointing towards this sound. And it's obviously something very large. It's stomp, 2 feet, big fracking sticks as it walks. And we're all just looking, trying to see, what is it? And those cameras aren't strong. Those cameras were good for inside of haunted houses for paranormal investigating, but they did not light up the forest enough to see what was coming. So we couldn't see what it was. And so all of a sudden it was like somebody snapped their fingers and multiplied that sound. And now something was walking towards us from multiple directions. and it's like we're getting surrounded. And we just automatically circled up back to back facing out. And we're all still looking through the cameras trying to see if we can see what's coming. And we can't see what's coming. And, the girls were very scared. And I can understand. I can understand that. And, one of them said, Jen, do your tobacco thing. Do your tobacco thing. And we were on an Ojibwe Indian reservation, and I am part of Ojibwe. And so what she was saying was do a traditional prayer. So I took the tobacco out of my pocket, and I started to pray in the Ojibwe language out loud. And I introduced myself, and very formal introduction. And then I thanked the little people. And then I said, Miigwech Gichisabe, which means thank you to Bigfoot. And as soon as I said that noise of it coming towards us, those multiple creatures coming towards us, it all stopped. It went silent. There was no retreating. There was no more noise. It just went silent. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I was excited about it because I had talked to elders, the native elders from various reservations in the area, and they told me that you could pray to Bigfoot and he would help you. But although I'm native and I honor and I really value the wisdom that they share with me, I'm a very logical-minded person, and I still didn't really believe in Bigfoot at that time. So I was like, yeah, okay. And so, but I gave it a shot. And when it stopped, when I said thank you to Bigfoot in Ojibwe, to me, that was like, they were right. They were right. And it was confirmation of that to me. And I was really excited. The girls, not so excited. They were scared. They were terrified, to be quite honest with you. Most of them were. And so one of them said, hey, Jen, maybe we should go check out where we found those footprints today. And I said, okay. So we jumped in the car and we started driving away. And we went up to on the way up to where the footprints were, it was quite a ways up the road. The girls were saying things like, I'm not sure I want to look for Bigfoot. I don't want to find him anymore. This is way scarier than paranormal investigations or crucifixes flying off the wall. This is scarier than that. And they're like, maybe Bigfoot could just walk out in front of the car and make it get a picture. That would be okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, let's just take that.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, a few of them didn't want to get out of the car again that night. They were pretty scared. Eventually, I talked them into going back to that spot where we had that encounter earlier, and some did not get out of the car. And they were like, let's go. We're leaving. We need to go. And then the next day, I wanted to go back out there and look for footprints. And again, I found myself in a bullying situation where I'm like, you can't be a Bigfoot researcher and not go look for the footprints where we heard the sound. And I convinced them to drive out there, but some of them wouldn't go into the woods. So, that was just destined not to work out between us. If they're not willing, and they're not willing to go out in the dark. So I went back home, and I had a lunch time with Jenna the next day, and I'm like, all right, Jenna, I gotta kind of tell you what I did over the weekend, and I'll let you tell that, Jenna.
Oh, thank you. Actually, the reason that I texted Jen, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I hear some background noise, so I'm so sorry. I don't know, Jen, if you can move your mic a little bit. It got better for a little bit, but yeah. But so anyway, yeah, Jen, I'm visiting Jen, and she's starting to, we're just talking like nothing, and all of a sudden she gets really kind of timid, and she's like, guess what I did this weekend? So then she starts telling me what she did that weekend. And I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me about this? This sounds amazing. And I told her, I said, my gosh, because I was so looking forward to camaraderie. I was looking forward to exercise. I was, because I had just had some major medical issues at the time, and I had a near-death experience. And after that, my life changed. I became a completely different person. So when she said that, I was no longer scared of what people were going to say about me if I was going to go search for Bigfoot. Now I could care less. Now that I know that this life is our one life this time, I'm going to make it good. Doggone it. And I think everybody else should. But anyway, so that's how Jen just told me. And immediately I was like, oh, yeah, I got to be part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
It is.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
He's been with me ever since. And we've been having a great time. We really have. And, Jenna has come a long way with, she didn't know anything about like remote viewing before that. And, I was really into geographic remote viewing and looking at locations on satellite imagery and remote viewing that way, so I could get GPS coordinates of actual pin down really closely locations of where things are at. And so the first time I did that, and I'm like, all right, so there's a Bigfoot territory over here, and then there's a whole bunch of Bigfoot evidence we can collect over here, and there's this pathway between them. I'm hoping we can drive on that. And so when we got out there, I'm like, okay, here we are stopped between those two places. If you get out of the car within 100 feet starts that Bigfoot territory of that aggressive male that I saw. And then, but if you go out to the left within 100 feet, we're going to see a whole bunch of Bigfoot evidence that we can collect. Not sure what that is, but there's something there. And she's like, uh-huh.
Okay, she made me sound like I was like halfway sleeping when I was there. I mean, this is what she makes me sound like, but I wasn't. I was just like, hey, Nikki, because Nikki wasn't feeling very good and she drove the vehicle, and I was like, hey, if you want to watch my video, I've got videos on the phone, not realizing that Jen's like, because she started being really crabby with me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because usually Jen's very, quiet and reserved, except for this time, and she's like, Jenna, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Well, here I didn't understand the whole idea of remote view. I didn't realize that, Jen. I didn't realize that we were supposed to be there immediately. But I wasn't.
There was stuff moving back there. Like, there's stuff moving back there, Jenna. And I started walking by myself back there. I'm like, Jenna.
Yeah, but you went the wrong way anyway. You had to go the other way, right?
No, I was waiting on the one side of the car looking towards the aggressive male, and then Nikki said she saw something moving back there towards the structure. And so I was like, duh, don't look towards the aggressive male, go to the structure. And so I walked to the other side of the car and I saw the stuff moving.
That's what it was. Okay.
And Jenna's like, so Nikki, do you want to watch my videos? I'm like, Jenna.
Well, she wasn't feeling good. I'm a care provider. I love making sure everybody's going to be okay and make sure that they're warm. And if they're not feeling good, it's terrible. I know, but I don't do that anymore. You can fend for yourself if you're on our team now, because I won't care. I'm kidding.
Well, when we're at a spot that I said there's something at, then when we don't care if somebody's sick, just leave them behind.
Over
Doesn't that
time.
sound terrible?
Over time, we have come up with so many different things that we would have never thought about. I mean, there's a sports bra issue. We always have to wear sports bras. You know what happened there, right? Did you ever? Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so we've got different issues like this where we carry, different things with us to make sure that this stuff will never happen again. Some of our best evidence could not be shown because of something that I had worn. So that was we've learned a lot from that a little problem.
Okay, I get it.
We're just going to warn Hannah, never wear a sticky bra in the field, because if it's hot, they stop sticking and then you take them off and you might see right through your shirt on the video.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. She's like, I want to watch it. But no, you really don't. It's bad.
I told you, the more inappropriate, the better.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Actually, Jenna, we have a question from one of our
viewers, Paula.
Okay.
Paula says,
Paula.
Jenna, tell us some of your experience.
As far as Bigfoot or NDE,
or your NDE, or before you go, we've got quite a few of us on here who are probably fairly well aligned with y'all.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So, yes. In fact, you be quiet. Yeah, and I've got a question for Jen later about the whole energy, what you were picking up. But yeah, Jenna, just some of your experiences. Yeah, I'm not sure what Paula's getting that, but I imagine it's that direction. So
in the direction of NDE.
NDEs and how and maybe how that's influencing your Bigfoot. NDE, yeah.
Yep. She just said NDE. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for verifying. Boy, my life, like I said, changed quite a bit after my NDE. It was crazy. Basically in January at an end of a procedure, unbeknownst to the doctor, he pulled the camera up too fast and he ripped my colon open. And and he basically said, okay, everything's great. I found the problem. Go home. Well, 48 hours later, I'm basically dying in bed, and I finally find a ride to the emergency room. Now, mind you, my father had died 5 years ago. My brother had died 6 months ago, and I was on my way to die at that very moment. And my mom couldn't handle anymore. So basically, I get to the emergency room. They do some tests. They find out I'm septic, and I'm out. I'm gone. The next thing I'm waking up, and I am. It's crazy because I woke up and I had an ostomy bag on, and I had just literally gone through so much in my NDE, and I'll tell you about a little bit about what I did, but it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I woke up, I was so changed. But one of the places that I really love telling people about is it was this beautiful meadow. There's a line of trees on my left as tall as I could see, and the colors were amazing. They were these beautiful greens that had this, I can't even explain how beautiful it was. You know, and the leaves themselves were waving on the tree, almost like they were waving hello. This is not a normal situation. This is not from medications I was on. This is a near-death experience. I actually got to see Christ. And, oops. Jen, can you turn yourself on mute?
I can do that.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Sorry about that. I couldn't hear myself, so I got kind of distracted. But where am I? Oh, anyway, I was okay. I went to this meadow. Saw these beautiful trees in front of me, beautiful line of trees, you know, in front of me and on the side of me. I saw this man with 2 children on the back. The horse was walking down this stone path in front of the trees in front of me. And I was too busy looking at everything around me. The grass was beautiful. It looked like water waves. That's how it looked like water. It was so gorgeous. I could not feel or hear the wind, but I could see the wind was moving. It was amazing. Well, needless to say, I finally get to notice the man on the horse. And when I looked, at first I looked at the kids. There were 2 boys, and I looked at him in the eyes. And all of a sudden, with that one look, my entire body, it felt like something, like some kind of tube just sucked me through like a vacuum, like right through my spine. And it was like, when I looked into his eyes, he wasn't ready for me. And my mom was not ready to be alone. You know, she would have been with 2 kids. So yeah, that's just one of the issues that I went through. But there's a lot of different places. I actually went to another place, and I'll make this really quick. It's a life review. So that they do exist. Life reviews do exist. And I will tell you that it is very important that we do our part now to be able to go to that life review and not be ashamed. That's all I'm saying, because it's beautiful. When I walked in, I was looking at these walls, and they had pictures of people I knew, people I didn't know, all over. It was on the wallpaper. And then I saw this little black lady. She was probably maybe about 5 feet tall, and she was sitting in this little chair right by a door. And I said, she said to me, she goes, "You're seeing this, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "You shouldn't be." And so she guided me out another door. So yeah, it was just incredible, the different places that I got to see and view. I was very fortunate, and everything is very vivid. However, I do have I had to learn to walk and talk again after I woke up out of a coma. I was in the hospital for 3 months. So this life journey, yeah, after all of that happened, it was like, well, I can't say no to anything else now. Life is exciting. I'm going to live it. And I don't give a hang dang what you think about me anymore. I'm going to do it. God said it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? That's the way I take it. I'm here to live.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I totally agree with you. I have about the same philosophy, but mine came from a little bit different perspective. I did 2 tours in Iraq and I had my best friend killed next to me. And I'm like, I'm going to live for him. And yeah, I don't care what is going on. We're going to do it.
Yeah. It's an amazing life. And like I said, I before then, I didn't even think about a life review. I just thought you just popped up, but that's not true. So be careful.
Yeah.
So I have a question for Jen then, who can probably take herself off mute now. Because I'm really very interested in, you said you went out to see if you could kind of pick up on their energy. And as a psychic, you know that different life has different energy signatures and energy patterns. And so my question is, how does a Bigfoot energy pattern differentiate from a living human, from a departed human, from other, that's really interesting to me. And then I'll tag on to that when you're done.
Okay.
I'll just do one thing at a time.
I'm a Reiki master teacher, so like I sense energy on a physical level. So it feels like a vibration in the body. So when we were doing this, I was asking to become aware of different energies that I had not sensed before. Specifically looking for that Bigfoot energy. So when we got to that location, my body started vibrating in a way that it hadn't vibrated before. And that's because I was open to sensing that energy at that time. Might not happen, when I'm not fully open like that. Because it happened before, or after that again, we were driving. Jenna, Nikki, and I were driving on the reservation about 55 miles an hour, and I opened my awareness to see if I could sense anything. Nikki was driving 55 down the road, and I screamed, "Stop the car!"
She did. She really did. Stop the car!
There's something back in the woods to the right over there. I felt it. And so I felt that energy zing me and pull me to the right, so I knew it was to the right. And I'm like, there's a Bigfoot back there. So we turned the car around and drove back there and see where we could drive in. And we found a spot to drive in. And behind that woods, there was a gravel pit. And there were footprints going up the side of this gravel pit hill that were obviously Bigfoot. And Bigfoot prints. And they were clear as day. And they were about 18 inches long with 5 toes. And they went all the way to the top. And Jenna and Nikki tried to climb the hill next to them. And they'd take a step. They were on their hands and feet. And they'd take a step and they'd slide back down on the hill because it was so steep. So it was very steep. And the tracks that went up never put its hands down. And was able to take much larger steps than any of the girls could do. And we actually showed those tracks, video and pictures to Lobo from Finding Bigfoot. And he's like, wow, look at that angle. That's really steep. That couldn't have been a human or a bear. That had to be a Squatch. Yeah. There was no doubt in his mind. And there was no doubt in my mind either at that point. So that was exciting. We did try to cast those prints, a couple of them, but it didn't turn out very well in the ground pit. It didn't turn out well, actually. But we tried.
Yeah.
So I guess the piggyback to that question, and this will, because a lot of the fun conversation we have with our crowd here is, the whole, are they physical? Are they woo woo? Or, are they, so based on your experiences and picking up on this energy, are they, do you think that they are physical creatures like us, or different creatures from a different dimension, or What's your thought? I know anthropologist guy here will draw you a picture of evolution.
But
I love it. All right, I'm very open-minded. I'm very open-minded to whatever the answer is. So, you know, I'm just going to say that. And all of us on my team have a different opinion. So I think that we delve into every little angle between the three of us. So for me, I do think it's a physical creature. Very physical. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't leave footprints, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Or DNA, right? But also, the things that I hear from my native elders about what Bigfoot can do, and then just different things that we've experienced and found, leads me to believe that they might have the ability to travel through or open portals of some kind, because when I'm very interested in petroglyphs, which are ancient rock carvings, or pictographs, ancient rock art, and the way that they would draw a portal would be circles within circles within circles, or spirals. And so when we found those footprints going up that gravel pit hill, and Jenna got up to the top, I never did. I couldn't have climbed that. So kudos to Jenna and Nikki for doing that.
It was a tough climb. It really was a tough climb. Although the next year we went there, we found an easier access. It was so sad. We could have just walked
come
up
to Mount Katahdin.
where we're at.
I'll kick your patuki.
We're
Yeah.
in Maine right now.
the you know who. Oh my goodness, that would be fun. But I don't know how physical I could get.
Well, Jenna,
I'm
does
getting
pretty
older. Yeah,
good.
I do
Whatever,
pretty good.
Jenna. Thanks for calling me old. Anyway, because
No,
I'm
I
older
didn't
than
call you
her.
old.
Yeah, she did. She's getting old. I'm older.
You're so young. Oh, love it.
So when we found those footprints, Jenna went up to the top and she's like, Jen, because I said, where do the footprints go? Do they go down the other side? And she's like, no, there's circles up here. I'm like, what? She goes, I'm taking you a picture on your phone.
So now you have to understand, Jen has told me ever since I started on this team, she's always told me about circles within circles, circles within circles. So when I got up there and I saw there was no footprints after the top, I mean, it was flat. There was no footprints, but there was 3 circles within circles within circles. Now I'm looking at that thinking, okay, is that alien? Is that a ship? Is that frequency? You know how you can put sand on a drum and put some, and how frequency works. So yeah, that was just incredible. Sorry, go on, Jen.
So she sends me the pictures, and there were 3 sets of these circles where the footprints ended. And so where the circle was, that was like a zillion little circles within circles within circles, and they were perfectly made into the sand. And all the weeds that were there were crushed down, except for outside of the circles, they were standing up. And but that's where the footprints ended, and they didn't descend the hill. So, and on a gravel pit, you can see a footprint so easy. I mean, you can't hide that. So where did they go? They disappeared at the circles. That's just weird. So, and what my native elders had told me was that Bigfoot can travel through the ground from one place to another, physically travel instantaneously. And I said, so you're not talking about like a tunnel, like they're jumping down in a tunnel and running somewhere really fast. And like, nope, that's not what we're talking about. And I'm like, so you're talking about a portal? And they're like, yes. So, but that they open a portal through the ground is what they were saying. And so the circles to me already meant portal because of the pictographs and the petroglyphs being drawn that way. And I'm like, it makes sense that they would draw them the way that they looked. So if they're opening portals with something like frequency, we already know that there is a frequency that creates that pattern of circles within circles within circles, right? We can look that up on YouTube. There's frequencies that they play that create that pattern in the sand.
Right. So no, I got a question. The circles that you saw that you took a picture of, were there just one set or there were 3 sets? I'm trying to figure out. There were 3 sets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but my expertise in anthropology is Native American culture. I'm a Native American cultural anthropologist, and reading pictographs is one of the first things I ever did. And
he geeks out about it. Like
I really geek out about petroglyphs and pictographs because, I've really studied them for a long time. And I even got to go down to Chaco Canyon, New Mexico and study all those, which are absolutely amazing.
And Jen, you'll like this. He was at a dig in California and he found, was it a glyph or a graph? The alien command console.
Yeah.
He found, I think it was a petroglyph. A petroglyph of what with the way he read it. It's like, this is like what their ship looked like. It was like an alien ship command console.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get a photo?
Yeah, I've got photos of it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's like they had carved out this seat in a rock, and they had a flat panel in front of it, and with all the symbols on it, kind of looked like a control panel. And I wondered if the Native Americans at that time were carving something they saw.
Yeah. His professor kind of wrote him off after that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But yeah, he wrote a whole paper on it. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I got, my brain is just going just singing in circles.
I noticed someone had mentioned, speaking of circles, someone had mentioned an orb, if we have ever seen orbs. But yes. Yeah. But I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying.
Nope.
There we go.
Ahead.
Okay. We have seen orbs. Jen and I have been out in the field, and we were just doing some night watch with our infrared and thermal. We ended up finding, in fact, you guys can go on our site. What is wrong with my mouth today? It's tired, I guess. But anyway, you can go out and see. We shot an area where there is a bright light. It's a circle light. We've had it looked at by some semi-professional people who said they didn't think it was a flashlight whatsoever, because there's no bouncing or moving, or it moves behind. But definitely go out there, check it out. This orb was moving, and we caught it going in front of the trees, behind the trees. Now, this is the location that this is at is more of like a boggy marsh. We cannot even go in this area because it's so, we could literally get stuck and no one would be able to help us out there. And it's at night, so we have to make good judgments, and it's not even our land. So you also have to get approvals to get in this land. And yeah, but anyway, so yes, we saw that, and Jen disappeared. So
I'll
I'm
be
glad
back, I'm sure.
Yes, she will. Oh, yeah. So basically this thing was amazing. It I'm trying to think of what the site was, how far away. Jen, how far away was that shot of that orb?
I'm not sure, because your unocular device can see really far in the dark. It was a good click away. I'm not even sure how far that was. It's like looking through binoculars a little bit, but the unocular magnifies the area from a distance, and then you're seeing it in the dark. And that was a really cool camera, but it stopped having the ability to record it. And I don't even know where she could send it to fix it. We can still look through it now, but it won't record anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish I could find someone. So if you know of how to fix these machines, I believe it starts with B, Bearmeter or something.
You're brilliant with fixing things.
What was it? What kind of camera was it?
Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oops.
All right. Meanwhile,
can fix
if you're
anything.
looking up their website, okay, go ahead.
It's called a unocular. I know that. Unocular.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it, but I'm not. What was that?
Sorry about that.
Oh, that was her. Okay.
All right.
That was
so
my
we
little
have their
alarm. I
website.
apologize.
So we have their website up for you if you guys want to go visit them after the show, please. After the show.
Yeah.
But you can go right to shesquatchers.com, and they've got all sorts of stuff up on there to amaze you.
I'm going to ask too. Can we please have people go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe? We are We're in a
Please.
YouTube race with another YouTuber who's challenged
Oh,
us to a race. So
Okay.
now we're really trying to win. So please subscribe to our channel and help us win.
Yeah, in fact, their YouTube channel, there's a link in the description below already. So just go click on that, go over there and click
Yeah.
to subscribe. So yeah. And your guys' show's on every Wednesday? No, Tuesday. Wednesday. Yeah, because I get alerts and I watch you guys, so I don't comment a whole lot, but I in fact at all. I'm one of those lurkers in the back. So
We love lurkers. Lurkers are great. As long as you're watching it, it's perfect. Hey, by the way, I did find it. It's a Best Garter Solomark Optic Digital. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
Okay.
I haven't. So
well, we've got to go out with him sometime. Our plan A, after camping season is over, our plan A, of course, you know, you never know anymore what plans are going to look like. You just kind of like 5 minutes. Is the going good now? Let's go.
right. Go when you can.
Our plan A is to get back to South Dakota and probably winter there. And, you know, because we're looking to buy land in various places. But so if we can get back to South Dakota for the winter or for the fall and winter, we would love to meet up somewhere because that's closer to y'all than Maine.
Yes,
So
it is.
we'll see.
in fact, we're really close to Lauren Coleman right here.
Yeah. In fact, we went to his museum last year.
So
I want to go. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I got a great t-shirt there. That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
by the way, I did want to bring up one other thing. As far as the orbs, we also get orbs on camera, on film too. They show up where we're seeing different dens, things like that. We were, who were we with? We were,
there is
Squatch
something.
Man.
It's I was thinking of when we were out on my reservation with Larry. He caught on his night vision camera it wasn't an orb. It was it looked like a piece of pie, a shaped light. It was triangular, and it zoomed from where we were at towards him, and it went right past him. So it like came towards him, but it looked like the shape of a slice of pie. But it was light, and it came from far away to real close, and it just zoomed right past him really fast. And it was the middle of October. The bugs were already dead, so it couldn't have been a bug or a bird. And you know, it was pretty cool. That is on our YouTube channel, and it's like some type of, I think I named it something, strange anomaly or something, anomaly, and then I put in the description at what time it was on, because we don't really know how to edit videos very well. So I just plopped the video up there and said, this is where it's at.
this is your guy for video editing right here.
Yeah, in fact,
we may take you up on that.
Yeah, we did. We have two channels. We have our Bigfoot channel, and then we have our because we live full time in an RV, so we have kind of an RV channel where we go to weird places where most RVers, you know, like we go see the world's biggest ball of popcorn and stuff like that, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, we had a video. We're speaking of orbs. We did a video. We were parked in Rachel, Nevada, outside the Little Alien, about a mile from Area 51, and we spent like 4 or 5 days there, and we were filming, kind of
just goofing off.
And you know, we went and seen you know, the black mailbox and the, you know, all the alien stuff around Area 51, and I was filming the alien parking sign. Had some jets flying behind it from Area 51, the test, whatever they were testing. And we put up this video, and then about a week later, one of our viewers put in the chat of the video, or said, go to such and such time on your video, you caught two spacecraft. And I'm like, what? You know, I didn't even see it. So I went back and got the raw video and started breaking it down. And it was like, yeah, it was amazing. We did catch two orbs that flew right in front of my camera, and I never even saw them with my own eyes. So
they typically move so fast that most people don't see them.
Yeah. And that's what this was. I had to slow it way down to be able to see them.
So speaking of which, if anyone out there has not subscribed to the Paddy Wagon channel, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
That channel has not been blocked or shadow banned or anything.
Yeah.
So go like it.
Yeah.
Give me some traffic.
I got to make sure I'm on there. I'm pretty sure I'm already in there, but I'll just double check after the show.
Okay.
After the show. Hey,
After
speaking
the
of, I
show.
want this guy's nuts. I saw the beginning of this show and I want this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
The coffee.
The
I want
coffee?
that coffee.
You got
Jen, you didn't know this, but they have a coffee. They were drinking a coffee called This Guy's
I
Nuts.
saw that. I did see that. I
Ma-
actually did see that. And Jenna has a, and I also saw Jenna telling you before the show that she sometimes says things that are inappropriate or
But I
they
don't
sound
mean it.
inappropriate. But I think she meant that
Do
one.
you have any of the packages?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
over there.
I only meant it because I could say it and it really was something and I didn't feel bad. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Well,
Hey, really, I
don't
want to
know
try the
where he's
coffee.
I'm
going.
gonna go get the
Oh, he's gonna go get the coffees. It's actually, if you go to it's I'll put it up here. I'm not sponsoring them. They aren't sponsoring us. Cynthia Jackson's.
I just
it's
love the name.
I know, and she's got so much coffee. But anyway,
And she's got a bunch of different
she's got
different
about
names.
20 or 30 in
Blends.
this guy's nuts blends.
blends. So here we have it's this guy's nuts,
No, that's Fluff Your Nuts.
and this brand is called Fluff Your Nuts. And
Is that-
this
wait,
one's called
that's
Tickle
coffee?
Your Nuts. Yeah, it's coffee.
I have to order some.
And they got some that's called Wash Your Nuts, and there's a whole bunch of
Play with your nuts.
Play with your nuts.
Oh, I need this website. This is like
Oh,
going to be the
God,
best
that's
year for
funny.
Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
I saw that at the store and I said, I can't not do it.
I totally get you. I would have so gotten some too. That's so awesome. I'm
And-
tearing.
Yeah, and tonight we were just drinking pistachio.
So
Boring.
Oh.
It's really tasty though. This one is probably the best one so far. But anyway. All right, guess
Yay.
what? It is
it's getting close, but we
It's
got a little
getting
bit of time.
close.
I
Little bit of
wanted you
time.
guys just got done with a Bigfoot festival, didn't you? In Nebraska?
They did.
Yes.
I unfortunately didn't get to go.
Oh, bummer.
Yes. Tammy and I went. Unfortunately, we don't always get to go, all of us,
Yeah.
but if you need two She Squatchers to be the She Squatchers, right? So,
Yeah.
so sometimes only two of us make it, but Tammy and I went down to the Nebraska Bigfoot conference, and it was a good time. It was the first conference we'd done since the whole COVID thing started.
Yeah.
And now we're starting out our season strong, I guess. Because in June, then we go to another one in July. It looks really crazy.
Which one is that?
Which was one in July.
We've got the Duluth, Minnesota. We've got the Para Unity Conference, and Lauren
There you
Coleman will be there. So we're excited about that.
Awesome.
And then I think Jenna's working on I'm not sure if we're going yet or not, but we have been given an offer to go to the Michigan Bigfoot Conference in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
There you go.
The weekend of I think it's the 17th of July.
Yeah.
And then the next weekend after that, we'll be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee for the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. We're speaking there too.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, so July is really crazy.
That's cool. I'm glad to see them opening back up. I meant like in 2020, I was booked to speak at 8 different conferences and they all canceled. But they're starting to come back. We are actually doing one here in Maine in August, and then we have 9 days to drive back across the United States to do one in Oregon.
If indeed that happens.
Yeah, if that one opens up. But we're planning to do that with Shane Corson. I don't know if you know Shane. You probably do, right? From the Olympic Project.
I think that we've met him, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of the guys from the Olympic Project, but I'm not sure that I remember Shane directly.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, and this winter we accidentally fell into a conference. Like it was funny. We didn't even know it was going on, and we went. It was in Falk, Arkansas. you know,
Oh,
where the
that
Legend
sounds
of Boggy Creek was filmed, you know. So we went there and we saw the poster,
It's
and
not quite how it happened.
well, yeah, kind of. Anyway, we went to the Monster Mart, and there was a poster for a Bigfoot festival. We're like, oh wow! So we headed over there, and Shelly Covington, do you know her? Montana,
her
Shelly
name.
Covington, Montana.
I know her name.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah.
She's a professional tracker.
Yeah, she was there, and we had done a conference in Oregon together, and we just ran into each other. And then, of course, Keith Crabtree was the guy who played the Bigfoot in The Legend of Boggy Creek in the 60s when that movie came out. He was the actual guy in the costume, you know, and they have that. And he was one of the Crabtree family who was famous in Falk, Arkansas. So he was there. We got to hang out with him. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Events are so wonderful, aren't they? You get to meet so many wonderful people. You get to hear their stories. This is one of the best things that, I mean, the Bigfoot community has got right now are people that are interested just as much as we are.
Yeah.
And we have openings in August and September. If anybody would like us to come to a conference.
Maine.
Come to Maine.
Come to Maine.
Do you know who's putting that conference on?
We are.
We are.
Oh, you're kidding.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Okay,
it.
we will. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because we used to do one in Oregon every year that we put on, and we've had Cliff Barrickman, and we've had Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and then Cliff Barrickman and I and Dr. Jeff did a conference in Pocatello, Idaho, and it kind of got rained out. So us three were kind of there by ourselves for like 4 hours one day, and we just sat around and talked, and it was kind of awesome. Got to hang out with them. So.
Oh, isn't that? I love it. I love it. Sometimes we get to meet people and hang out, and it's people that we would have never thought. I mean, we got to hang out with Bobo one night.
Yeah. He's so sweet.
Yeah, we got to meet him too.
He was nothing like I thought he would be. He was so skinny. When I first met him, I thought he was a big Bobo, and I looked at him and I was like, "Oh, where are you?" So, but he looks fabulous. As long as that's how thin he wants. I don't think I want to be that thin. Sorry, guys. Sorry, USA. I'm not that thin girl.
Yeah.
So yes, but he looks fabulous. But yeah, it's so neat. He's such a nice guy. Who else did we get to hang around with? Travis Walton. Walton is another.
And Cliff Brockman.
Yep, Cliff. Yeah. So I mean, the thing that makes me so interested in Bigfoot and people wanting to find Bigfoot is if you look at the people that are looking for Bigfoot, they're all intelligent. These are doctors. These are people with degrees. This isn't just the, so-called hillbillies of the world looking for Bigfoot, because that's what people think. It's not hillbillies looking for Bigfoot. This is.
I'm not a hillbilly.
I would trust the account of a hillbilly.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yes.
I would too.
Because, in fact, when we were in Alabama, we met some hillbillies and they're proud of it, and we had gone into town to go to the market and they see our truck, which is very,
it's got logos all over it.
And
we do that so people give us stories.
And he had come up and he was talking to us about it. And these are the people that live out there with them, and they have regular interactions. And so I don't discount them at all.
Yeah.
No.
And when they look at you like you're crazy, pay attention. And when we were at the conference in Pocatello with Dr. Jeff and with Cliff, remember that one native elder came to you and told you to knock it off.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave me a warning.
Was he Paiute?
No, Shoshone.
Shoshone.
It's kind of interesting.
We're going to go long tonight, just so y'all know.
Yes, so just a little bit. But it's kind of interesting. I have talked to probably over 175 tribes, because of my work as a Native American anthropologist. And that's kind of what got me into it, was the Bigfoot legends. And, my first pictograph I asked an elder. We were in California with the Miwok tribe, and I saw this pictograph. I didn't know what it was. And I asked the elder, what is that? And he goes, well, it's Bigfoot. And I said, what? They exist? And he looked at me like I was stupid, like, yeah, and then turned around and walked off. And that's what kind of got me into this whole research thing on this subject. And
so the Shoshone guy who came up,
it's kind of funny how in the natives that I've talked to, almost like half the tribes, Bigfoot is a spiritual being, elder brother, benevolent, that sort of thing. But the other half of the tribes, they're cannibals, they're evil, predatory, mean, all that sort of thing. And it's kind of an interesting dichotomy I've found in the Native American world. So
the Shoshone elder,
yeah, he told me they're not that nice. So
and he flat out told him, stop looking. Stop. What were his words? They were just like, stop looking, because you don't want him to find you. If you keep looking for him, he will find you, and you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Oofta.
So that was in Idaho, though. So maybe the Idaho Bigfoot are mean. I don't know. But.
It's funny, Jen. My favorite Bigfoot. I'm looking at your website now, and Daryl is busy flirting with me and blowing kisses.
Yeah.
It's kind of distracting. But my favorite Bigfoot legend comes from the Ojibwe tribes. And it's kind of what got me interested, was the whole story of them coexisting with the tribes very peacefully until white man came and then said, don't have anything to do with these people. It's no bueno.
Yeah.
They're not going to. And the tribe said, no, we want to trade with them. And Bigfoot says, well, we're going to go into the mountains. You'll never see us again, and goodbye. And it's like, oh, well, who had the wisdom there?
Yeah.
So that's my favorite story.
Yeah.
My favorite story, because I think it's perfect commentary.
Mm-hmm.
History foretold. Anyway.
All right.
Anything else? Or are we going to have to table any? I could talk all night.
Yes. Oh, wait. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Paula wants us to do a show just on natives.
Yeah.
And I've been bugging him to do that for years.
Yeah. So, I should go on their show and do a show.
That would be fun.
You should come on our show and do a show about native stuff.
Agree 100%.
Yes. Can you do that? Will you come on our show?
Sure, absolutely.
That's how we met
Awesome.
y'all. We came on your show a long time, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But we could do it like in a couple weeks, because I'm Jenna. I'm just going to tell you that I told my mom I'm taking this Wednesday off for her birthday.
Oh, okay, that's beautiful.
So do you want to do a show without me?
Yeah, no. I would love to hear me. You're the speaker, Jen.
Yeah, no.
She's the speaker. I'm the one that has a hard time remembering words. So come on, Jen. She's my brain. From when I was in the coma, I have a lot of memory problems. So she really is my brain. Every time I'm like, she's like, gotcha. She gets it. She gets my words.
She all of a sudden can't remember what this word is that she's trying to say. So I'll just say the word.
I've never been in a coma, but I do that too.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I hear it's
the
age.
thing. Yeah.
His
biggest problem is that he never knows where he put his coffee cup.
Yeah, so that's me.
Oh, funny. So where does he usually put it, or is it just all over the place?
Everywhere.
Sometimes.
Most time I find it on the ground where it was on top of my car and I drove off and it
a few times we've gotten all the way to the market and it's still on the bumper.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, kidding. Now that's crazy. You guys must be really slow drivers or have great roads.
He drives like a granddad.
That's
Safety
why.
first. Safety
There's
first.
your son.
So, all right. So we're going to have to close this out. This has been awesome. I hope our peeps have enjoyed it. We'll have you back again, and we'll let you know when we go on there so that you all can follow us over there.
Yeah. And go follow them over there on their channel.
Yes, absolutely. Like and subscribe to all the things. And so
what?
Finish off. We've got closing slides.
All right. We want to thank you ladies for coming.
Yes. It's been so much fun.
And text me and we'll talk about a couple weeks.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us on, guys.
Bye. So, and as always, for all of you, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and putting. We had a great show tonight. All of our shows aren't this great, and you put up with us anyway. And someone even told me today that from my work group that they watch us because they like how quirky and weird I am.
Okay, all right.
I will quirk and weird out all you want. But anyway, thank you so much. We really appreciate all of our viewers. They really make our lives wonderful. So just remember, our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
So we will see you next week. And